Track 6 is from Barney Cortez. It's Nowhere to Hide. Barney is a Philadelphia artist, and this was September 12th release, so reasonably new in the year. I like the fact that it landed back to back with Everyone Out, Nowhere to Hide. So that that felt kind of fun. Similar to the last track from me is that I wanted not dining room music. I went and just kind of had this overwhelming feeling of there's not very much rock music these days, and so I went and I looked for rock music. I wanted a band, and even though it's the artist's name, it still is a full band, and yeah, I found this podcast called Your Next Favorite Band podcast, and it's really good. I wouldn't say that each one of the artists that they feature is my next favorite band. That's probably impossible anyway, but I like the audacious naming of the podcast, so feel free to check that out. But I listened to that a couple times during the year, and there was this interview with this guy, Barney Cortez, and they played some tracks and track snippets, and I was immediately snagged in a good way by this song called Crash, which is just like a in-your-face, barnstorming, burn the house down kind of rock song. And I ended up choosing Nowhere to Hide, partly because I liked the video a little better. So this is one of the interesting things about the switch over to YouTube. I think if it was just Spotify, the song Crash would have been the song that I put on the playlist. But then, you add in the visuals and these other things, and I thought, well, I like Nowhere to Hide, and I like this video a little better for the talk. If you do get a chance to listen to some Barney Cortez, I do encourage you to go listen to Crash. Nowhere to Hide has 16,000 plays. Crash has only 8,000 plays. So I like that the song that I was really drawn to was kind of the less popular one. But either way, Barney Cortez is one of these guys that, just kind of like seems like he plugs in his guitar, he turns it up as loud as it's going to go. He, maxes out the distortion pedal and just is, kind of looks at his band and is like, let's set the house on fire and just go for it. So I needed some of that in my life. And, you'll see some more down-tempo stuff from me in other places. And of course, I like down-tempo introspective stuff. And then at the same time, I think there's this rock and roll side of what I used to listen to, whether it was Jealous Sound, or it was even like some older roots of, some of the more heavy metal from teenage years and stuff like that. Like I still need that kind of guitar-driven rock in my life. And as I thought about that genre, I went and looked, and this is what I found. In terms of the video, I also appreciate that it's the band playing instruments. It's kind of the normal thing. But I also like that as the song drifted into its instrumental part, that it gets into these sort of like spacey visuals, and there's even like this computer code that's running in the background, and the video keeps showing January 1, 1992, which is like what an old camcorder would do. So there's a little bit of kind of like 1980s Rick Springfield kind of edge to the way he delivers the phrasing and the guitars and stuff. And so I like the kind of retro feel. There's a little bit of Lenny Kravitz especially in Crash, but kind of across the whole album. So there's some kind of familiarity to it, and who knows if they actually filmed any of that stuff in '92. I don't think so, because he seems too young for that. But it seems like they got like maybe a camcorder out of somebody's basement, and without changing the date, they just went and filmed their thing. And so it's this, date mismatch, which I thought was kind of fun. So, it's Barney Cortez, and, I don't have a long lived experience with this. It's only 3 months out, but I have listened to these songs a lot, and I just appreciate that their rock and roll is still alive. So Grant, I want to know if rock and roll is still alive for you as well.
Yeah, well, this kind of song gets your like motivation to go down to the basement and jam some songs out that are a simple beat and simple riff, but just super fun as well. Also, the guitar solo, like rock and roll. A lot of the other music genres that we're listening to don't always allow for some sort of musical instrument solo or a guitar solo. Rock seems to be like, all right, here's your stage. Now wail for a little bit. And some of the live music I saw this year, man, I tell you what, like, yeah, there's some themes that like rock and roll is dead, or Geese are bringing back this rock and roll resurgence. I'm like, it hasn't left. It's just not on the surface for everybody to go find and pluck up like it was when it was Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and the White Stripes and the Black Keys and stuff like that. It's like it's still there. It's maybe not in our dining room. It's maybe not in our ears when we're on walks, but it is absolutely still there. And it's fun and it's like energetic. And I think the goofiness of the video and sort of the like, this is just a band just doing the thing and playing. It's not like to some theme or some other storyline. Like, it's just a video of them rocking in this like awesome stained glass church setting, and you got the bassist that I swear is like Randy Macho Man Savage just over there smoking and doing his bass thing, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So it was fun to see it. There was also like this like shot in the arm kind of effect of just hearing this like rich rock and roll sound. It's always like a touchstone to kind of go back to. But I'll just acknowledge right now, like, two Philly artists, two Toronto artists, like, those are two cities we don't have a lot of, like, deep catalog of, like, Austin or Dallas or New York or whatever. Like, Philly and Toronto are kind of new from a catalog. And so I think that that's cool. New artists. I love that it's also just acknowledging, like, going to seek something out of a genre. And the way that music streaming and the way that YouTube and all these different aspects, you can go find something and see if it scratches that itch. And to this, for that, it scratched that itch for you. And we've talked about music as a tool in many ways. This is one of those. I just kind of want to feel that rock and roll feeling again as well. But maybe don't want to go back to like Steely Dan days and be like, yeah, what's new? What's inspired by that? So very cool. I like the line where he's like, chickens with no heads or eyes to see. There were some funny, just little lines of nuggets that Barney threw in there that I thought were pretty fun. So great fun track. I think fun's the optimal word there.
Yeah, I agree with all of this that you guys are saying. There's a couple things that stood out to me that immediately the sound of the guitar, like you said, Sean, with the distortion all the way up, made me think of Ty Segall, which was highlighted on Fractals episode 22. And I'm a huge fan of Ty, so this immediately caught my attention. And then when his vocals come in, it feels a lot like Ty's vocals. So it to me, it was very familiar and something that I love. That kind of like orchestrating the dirty messiness of a distorted, full blasted sound is really appealing, I think, especially this year. And I love that that's mixed with like right in the pocket, like totally absolutely grooving in this sound. I loved it. I also love the album art. The album is called Earth Station, and Earth is kind of blown out like a sphere behind the words, and he's walking on this desert with a guitar case and a cowboy hat, and just looks like he's like maybe an alien visiting and at the Earth Station playing this track. So I love that. Love the backstory around Crash, and that you ended up going with the number one track, the first track off the album, and the connection between Everyone Out and Nowhere to Hide. That's also fun. It's cool to have these moments where, this is a later in the year. Like you said, it's only been 3 months since the album's been out, so not a lot of time to really get familiar with it. That means we've got a long road ahead of listening to new Barney Cortez and this release. It was almost a birthday album for you, September 12th, only 13 days off from the 25th. So that's pretty cool as well. Great find. Excited to learn more about Barney.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to hear you all talk about it. It does kind of make me wonder when you see a strong through line from a similar artist, whether it's Ty Segall or Lenny Kravitz or somebody else. Makes me wonder if those artists are aware of somebody less well known. Like I said, only 16,000 plays on this song and 8,000 on the other. It kind of makes me wonder if they're aware and if they appreciate the fact that some of their work might have spawned, somebody wanting to deliver their work in this way. Because I think at this point, everybody is it's a product of influences, and you can draw the family tree, if you will, of influences and kind of pick apart each song back to the influences. And this is one that had those, feeling very strong to me. And it did make me wonder, like what those artists that are more at the stump or at the root feel. Although, that said, by no means is like someone like Lenny Kravitz at the base of the tree, because, he's got all kinds of influences from Jimi Hendrix and everybody else, and it goes back and back and back. But I did enjoy that part of it, and made my mind wander in that way. So with that, I think what we'll do is we'll go to the song. This is Earth Station, as Brett had mentioned. This is Barney Cortez with Nowhere to Hide.